What's up, YouTube fam? Welcome to the first episode of Scared Money Don't Make Money.
Scared money don't make no money.
One thing that I think that a lot of people struggle to talk about is finances.
It's not polite to talk about money.
Nobody wants to talk about it. Maybe you haven't had a conversation with your parents, or you didn't have any conversations with your teachers.
We don't like to talk about it.
Nobody actually takes the time to prepare you for life. I don't have all the answers. I'm still pretty young. I'm 29 years old, but I have a ton of life experience. I have a ton of successes and a ton of failures. And what I want to do is kind of start tracking this stuff. And the things that actually help me, I want to share it with people. I got a lot of fun ideas that I want to do with this whole series that I want to do. It'll be in addition to my normal fitness vlogs. You guys will see me talk about the fitness stuff, but I want to talk about the untalkable, right? I want to talk about money. I want to talk about finances.
Okay, well, let's talk about it.
When you get to, my age, and you're 29 years old, you realize you have a lot of friends that are starting to make a lot of money, but they also live like they make a lot of money. And it seems like the more you make, what a lot of people end up doing is they just keep spending more. Make 100 and live like you make 200,000 a year.
That's how we do.
And as the years go by, this debt, right? It's like a snowball that just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger because you're making more money. It's not supposed to work like that. The debt bubble is supposed to get smaller and smaller and smaller, and you're actually supposed to start investing more and more and more. So I have this salesperson, and he came up to me after his second month in the business, and he was very humble. And he just wanted to say thank you for me working with him because he's breaking the cycle. He said he grew up low income family. He had all the love in the world, all the support in the world, but he didn't have the financials. And for the first time, he feels like he has control over that piece of his life. And he told me that he's never made that much money in 1 month before. And I told him I was proud of him. And he had like this look on his face. And I started to see him tear up a little bit. And he told me that nobody had ever told him that they were proud of him. And I'm getting choked up just thinking about it. But looking back at that particular moment, you realize the impact that you can have on someone's life just by taking the time to work with them. One thing that's important to me is I like sharing, my fitness stuff and my fitness tips with everybody, but that's a very small piece of life, the whole fitness thing. It's a lifestyle and it's very important to me, but there's so much more that goes into that whole Olympus mindset that I talk about and the overall successful mindset that you have to have in everything that you do. When I had that moment with that salesperson, everything just clicked and I felt like I could be doing so much more to be helping people, not just with motivating them through fitness, because I believe that one good thing leads to another, but financially, where people struggle just as much as they do with their physical and mental health. A lot of people struggle with financial health, right? And that's a whole different mindset that you need to correct if you want those other aspects of your life to get easier. So long story short, we're gonna talk about why scared money doesn't make money. And we're gonna talk about how you should be leveraging money to work for you rather than you work for the money. Because eventually, if you do things right, your money's gonna be working harder than you are.
I don't want to work that hard.
There's a good chance if you start early enough, before you know it, you'll see the snowball going in the right direction, right? And it'll be a snowball of money that's being made, not a snowball at that. Step one, you need to know where you're at to know where you're going. That's what this is gonna be about. We're gonna be understanding where we are at. And to do that, I want to change the way you kind of think about your income. Income really isn't about how much you make. It's about how much you keep. And by keep, I mean you pay yourself, because when you invest, you're paying yourself first.
Now, I've heard all this before.
There's a lot of people that talk about this. I'm not gonna be the first one, and I'm not a financial advisor. So before you do anything, you should consult a financial advisor. I'm simply telling you what has been working for me. And the way that I got to the position that I'm in is I started to think this way. And I listened to Dave Ramsey's podcast, and I'll put a link below for his book. He has like baby steps on how to eliminate debt and stuff like that. I used his steps and I made a couple modifications here and there, but for the most part, I followed his process and it works. It really works. But the biggest thing that got me thinking about spending money on me first rather than going out and buying a bunch of crap that I don't need, is thinking about compound interest.
Is that a good or bad thing?
It's huge. It's incredible. The longer you do compound interest, the more beneficial it is and the easier it gets for you and the more money you make. Like anything in life, you know, when you start dieting, when you change up your diet a little bit, you see a little bit of results. If you change your diet up dramatically and you're consistent and you never cheat on your diet and you always exercise in conjunction with your diet, you see this snowball effect of fat loss and you start to look incredible. And it's the same thing when you look at your finances that way. This brings me back to my point. Where are you right now? Where do you start? You can't start investing $500 until you know where you're at. You can't invest $1,000 before you know where you're at. And before we get into how much you should be investing, let's just figure out where you are in the whole process. So if you haven't already gotten some paper and a pen, I suggest you do that. This is what I want you guys to do right now. And this is what I originally did when I started my financial journey. The first thing, take whatever you make every single month on the average and be conservative, guys. Don't write down your best month if you're in sales and a commission-based position. Write down what your legitimate average is every single month and multiply it by 0.65. So if you make $10,000 a month, your net is $6,500. That's an important number. If you make $5,000 a month, your net is $3,250. Might be a little bit more, a little bit less, depending on if you have insurance and health insurance, if you have kids. Yes, all of those things can change, but for the most part, 65% is a safe number to use in this exercise. From there, draw a line across the whole thing, and let's start to calculate what your real bills are. What is your nut? What is the accumulation of all of the crap that you have? Because for most of you, I guarantee you, if you stop this video right now, you couldn't tell me what your nut is. You couldn't write it down and be exact. You couldn't write it down. You probably couldn't even be within 15% of what your actual nut is because you have no idea. You need to get this right. So don't just guess. Really take your time, log into your bank account if you have to. Let's look at all of the reoccurring transactions that you see. Your house, your apartment, right? This is your housing, insurance on your car, on your house if you have it. If you pay renter's insurance, utilities. So you got your gas, you got your water, you got your electric, subscriptions. You're gonna be baffled at the amount of subscriptions that you have. I couldn't believe how many I have. You know, Netflix, Hulu, Disney Plus, Dollar Shave Club, credit card bills, okay? Huge factor, very important factor, especially in this exercise. All the different credit cards you have, write down all the minimum balances, they're all important. Loans, all the loans. Anybody you owe money to. It doesn't matter if they're student loans, it doesn't matter if they're government loans, it doesn't matter if you owe your mother or your uncle or your brother or your brother's cousin's uncle.
Where's my money?
Whatever you owe them, whatever you're supposed to pay them every single month, write it down. It all needs to go into this total nut. Whatever that number is, write that number down. You added up everything, right? Now you really know what your cost of living is every month. How much did you have left? Subtract it from that net number that we had before. If you make $5,000 a month and your net is $3,200 and your total nut is $2,000, you think you have $1,250 left. The answer is wrong.
How could it be wrong?
If you have any debt, you don't have any money left. The whole idea is that we get to a point where we can start investing. But until we get to a point of being debt-free, we really can't start investing. But that's not the object of this exercise. We really just want to know where we're at so that we know where we're going. I want you guys to take some time, play with this exercise. In the next episode, we're going to talk about what you should start paying off and what you should do with your extra money. But for now, I just want you guys to work on what your total expenses are and really make sure you don't miss any of them. And what we'll do next week, we'll talk about how to manage that. I hope that this is going to get the creative juices flowing of how you should be looking at money. And I hope you guys join me in this journey for Scared Money Don't Make Money, because I'm telling you right now, over the next few months, we are really gonna get to do some cool things with money after we first understand where we're at. We're gonna be able to see where we're going. I really do recommend that you guys follow me on SoFi, and if you don't already have an investment profile started, check the link below. You guys will be able to follow me and you'll see everything that I buy, everything that I sell. It's pretty cool. Year to date, my portfolio is up 100%, which is very good. Do I know people that are up more than that? Yes. Do I know a lot more people that are up a lot less than that? Yes, I do. What I want to do is just share with you guys what is working, what has worked for me, so that it may work for you as well. Please like, subscribe, and share, guys. And next week, when I have my next episode, we're going to talk about what to do with your nut, what to attack first. It's time that the money that's scared isn't scared anymore. Thanks for watching, guys.